This is Piero from ArtAttack Snowmobile, and what we're doing today is assembling a kit. There's a manual here for parts. Start off with the carriages. Now this is the rear axle, and it should come with 2 screws with some filaments on them to keep them from jiggling loose. Now if you're doing the electric version, there are a couple little bearings in here that you don't need. Therefore the nitro version. Now what I like to do is put a little bit of glue on the side of these idlers, just a little bit, not the center one, just so that the bearings stay as far down as they can and not move. It's the center idler. The one question that people have all the time is, how tight should the track be? Well, it all depends on what kind of track you have, first of all. This particular one is going to be a deep lug track, and the final dimension for the deep lug track is 9/16 from the rear shaft to the bottom of the head of that screw. That's the final one, but I usually start it at 5/8, so it's a little bit looser, and then once it's all assembled, I tighten it up there's holes in the belt that you can tighten it up a little bit more, a 1/16 of an inch more. You want to make sure that these distances are identical. Or if you want, just set it at 9/16 like I'm going to do now, and we'll get it to fit. Okay, you have left and right-handed springs, and this portion of it overlaps the carriage. When you put these, when you get the Y-axles, one of them is marked rear, okay? We'll go in the behind portion of it. I like to have the rear portion of the spring sit on top of that shaft. Okay, you take the springs and you place them over the carriage, and that kind of keeps things kind of together. Then we take this guy and I take the corners, because the corners are very sharp and we want to clear everything. So I take some of the corner off. There you go. Again, this portion on both faces the rear of the sled. Same thing with all these little parts. Whenever you see a sharp corner, just so that you have some clearance. Now you don't need another spacer in the front because we've changed a few things to where you don't need it. Because this guy here actually sets that distance. There you go. That's a carriage assembly. Okay. One thing I like to do is try to keep these idlers as spaced out as possible, because these track belts have a tolerance on them. Okay, so I want to make sure that I can get as much stretch there as possible, so when it rotates it clears it. So these are about 8 thousandths thick. You can get these on eBay. Actually, it's more than that. They're 4 thousandths thick, not very thick. And the inner diameter should be a little bit more than this. This is a 34 thousandths, or 340 thousandths. 340 thousandths. So these should clear 340 thousandths. Then I put my idler on. This is not really necessary because we have other ways to keep that track from jumping, and that usually happens when if the two set screws in the rear that adjust the length of the sled, if those two are not identical, that might happen. So, but we have ways to prevent that. Okay. Let's see. The one thing that I do that on my rated runs, which is not on any manual, is I like to have my frame a little bit closer to the front. The reason for that is this hood, when it's placed on, I want to make sure that it covers the full rear of this area here. I want to make sure it covers the whole thing. So in doing that, I create myself a couple little problems, but I deal with those afterwards. So basically what we're going to do is place this as far forward as I can, and then mark these hubs here. All we're trying to do is pick up about 1/16 of an inch. I mark those hubs, so those hubs stop this from going any more forward. And then with a Dremel tool, I cut those out. Now we have a tree variety of drive sprockets, okay? These have been machined, so they have all kinds of burring on them that you want to clean up. On both sides of the main drive. Okay. The one thing you need to learn how to do is check everything before you start assembling it. Now we know that this drive shaft goes through here. Make sure it's nice and loose. Also, we're going to have bearings that go into this drive shaft. And like, for example, this one here, it's a little bit snug. And the main reason for this is these are coated with nickel or zinc or something. So sometimes some of it accumulates at the ends. So what I like to do is polish them up. Now I use a couple different kinds of paper. The final one is a very high end. It's like almost like a polishing paper. Beautiful. Okay, this is a stock track, and the way we're doing this, it's fine. Okay, this is a deep lug track, which is what all these kits come with. Now, if you were doing this track, you'd have to do some work to it before you assemble it. Now there's a D-shaped hole here. You want the full circle to be on the right side of the sled. Okay. One other thing I've learned is that when I assemble this, especially if I change to the other track, I like to clear this area so I can get the drive pulley in and out of there. I can probably use a Dremel for that. Okay, now it's time to put the carriages in with the rear suspension. The one thing I like to do I like to get rid of these end nubs. They're not needed. It's very tight as it is. And while we're at it, we'll add the stock suspension upgrade. Okay, when it's flush, it's fine. before we came out with this, the rear of the sled virtually had no suspension unless you bought a double shock suspension. So this is a cheap way to solve that problem. But the double shock suspension is great for many other things. This is the tricky part. The way I usually do it is I angle it and I start inserting it from the back and then pull it forward. Almost there. Now we need to engage the rear of those springs. That's not an easy job. And it should go inside those holes. Right here. Okay, this is a good time to check the tension of the track. Right now it's a little tight, so maybe 9/16 was a bit too much. Especially, here's what's going to happen. I mean, right now it's kind of warm, 70 degrees out, and it'll rotate fine. But when you take it out to the snow, everything shrinks, so it's going to be even tighter. So we want it a little bit looser now, because it's September. There's two adjustment holes back here. You line them up with the screws and go counterclockwise a little bit. The same on both. It's a little bit better. Okay, this is pretty good. If I were to pull right this belt where the bearing is, should be about 1/4 of an inch. Okay, now since I've moved this closer to the front, these holes are out of location a little bit, so I'm going to slot them. What I want to do now is pull the tunnel toward me so I can make it nice and tight, and then tighten these screws. These are the hood posts, and couple different size screws, black screws in here. You want to use the 3/8 ones, which are just about the second shortest ones here. These posts on, just keep in mind, we're using the eyelids here to clip them through, so we kind of want to face them in the same type of direction. I like to have mine pointed up when I insert them. Okay, got those guys in. Alright. Okay, we're going to install the servo saver. And this is nothing like on the instructions. This is my own preference. So the first thing we're going to do is this space here, we're going to get rid of half of this. Now, one of the things I've just done, I probably collapsed this hole. So we're going to want to test it. Yep, it's a little tight. This should be very loose. Okay. Inside the servo's shaft hole, there's a little step. We need to get rid of that. Now, I don't want to damage the hole, so I'm going to do it from the rear. Just tap it. You're going to pick a washer that is smaller than this diameter so it doesn't go through. And we're going to tap that in. Probably should have tested the screw before I put the shaft in. I don't want to damage the shaft, but I want to make it nice and tight. Okay, we're not going to use a spring here like it says in the instructions. We're going to glue these two together. So this typically would go facing this way. That's the way it should go. So that's how we want to glue it. Okay, you have ball cups and ball nuts. Okay, one of the things I noticed is like some people have been calling that these holes have been cracking, so I opened them up a little bit. Okay. Now you're going to take a ball cup and 2 small washers. This is where the steering arms get attached. The reason for the 2 small washers is I want to lift that steering arm so it doesn't hit this step here. Otherwise you'd have to machine some of that step off. I don't like to do that. Okay. Now we get a ball cup on the outside, no washers on the outside hole. Okay. Okay, what I like to use for suspensions, I know these are a little bit of muddy, not much, but because these kits have gotten faster and faster over the years, we need to make this sled more stable. So we will not need the normal struts. You need this block. And we're going to start off by, at the bottom of this block, we're going to put the strut without the holes in it. And then on the top portion, the hose would be facing toward me. Four lock nuts. Now these you want to not tighten too much. As soon as you see the plastic collapsing is the time to stop. The heads of the screws are toward me. Make sure that this is facing the top. This is where the main screws comes in, which is this guy here, the big one. Then you take the largest lock nut, and this is the one you use for here. Okay, that's in. Where to place this hole, it's indicated here at the very top where this groove is. But before you drill that hole, is you want to pull this bracket toward me and then drill the hole. Now on your wide suspension kit, you've got these other tools. These face the inside. These are 1 1/4 inch long. And maybe we should open these up a little bit. Then we want a washer here. Open this guy up a little bit. Okay. You let it come out all the way. Then you line up the lock washer. It's a tough little job here. And the way I do this part, I line up the nut straight, and then I use this. Go in and out. I go in and out until it seats properly. It's very tight. I loosen it enough so it goes up and down very easily. Do the same thing here, press down and forward. assemble the shocks, but they're very simple. The only thing that I have some pre-made ones that we're going to use. When you assemble these, the instructions are very good. The only thing to watch out for is these two little guys. They have a flash on them. Some of them do, some don't. Need to clear that flash off. Some do, some don't. And you want to make sure that your servo shaft slides freely in and out of there, like this one still doesn't. Okay, once it does that, just follow the instructions and you'll be good. Which look like this when they're completed. Take the black long screw. There's a couple different screws. These have socket heads, are the ones you want to use. Line up the hole. Might take a couple of tries to do that. Then you take the square lock nuts, black ones. Just get that started for now. Basically what you're trying to do is insert this into this hole while it's in here. And then we snug these up. These are metric screws. Maybe not. These don't have to be very tight. As soon as the nut touches the plastic, you're good. Beautiful. Okay, while we're here, the one thing I usually do is anything that has to be fitted, I check ahead of time. Like I know that these ski shafts have to go inside these holes. That's fine. And that's fine. Sometimes a little flash from the plastic injection molding makes them a little too tight. Now with these you should get, which I don't see here, these are 1/4 inch socket head screws. And they go like this. So when we put a ball cup on it, the smallest 440 screw there is what we use for these. There's a bunch of them. We're going to put a little super glue on this when we attach it. These, the D-shaped hole faces the front. What I like to do is just to make sure that these are installed correctly, because you can adjust those steering arms depending on what you want your skis to do. I kind of like for them to be at least straight. If anything, maybe pointing inside a little bit, but straight is good. And then you figure out where you need to One of the things I do when I put these skis on, I want to make sure I get as much turn on them. And sometimes they hit the plastic here and here. So what I like to do with a Dremel is clear some of that, so I'm able to turn more if I want to. So basically what I've done is I've cleared about 1/8 of an inch off of that edge. So now that this steering can go, you got more of a tighter turn if you want. Okay, what else do we need to do? The red hoods don't come with post soles. So we need to put them in. The way I do it, I mark the top of these guys with a black marker. And then I start off from the front and make sure it's nice and flush. Lower it. And then rub there. And I should have 2 marks that I can start pre-drilling with a small drill. And I check them before I make the hole larger. Yeah, they look pretty good. Then I finish the drilling from inside. Get rid of some of this excess. A couple of these black areas extend past this rib, so from that 1/2 down, we're going to clean that up. We don't need that, and maybe round off this edge. Shouldn't be sharp. So basically, this black here portion should be flush with this on both sides. Okay, seat. What you want to do is flush the seat with the back of the tunnel, and there's an indication hole to use to drill the hole to. And basically you'll be drilling through that step. So as I do that, so it doesn't move, I put a screw in. the handles. Once I put the center screw in, I line this up straight with the edge on the top and drill 2 more holes. One on each side of the other one. And it should basically look like that. Next we got the handles. One thing I like to do with the handles is crush the corners. So they're a little tighter. The one thing I do like to do is these holes, I like to make them a little bit larger for the clip to hold on to. Then we take these guys and we want to bend the end of the one on the bottom up so it looks like that. And the reason to do that so we don't scratch the hood. And that's pretty much it, except for the windshield. Now these come with turbo scoops and everything else. This is a stock kit, so all you get is a windshield. Well, you don't want to do this with a pistol drill. The last thing I want to show is how to put a servo on. What I like to use for servos is Futaba S3003. the wiring to face this way. So we're attaching this with 3 screws. Now if you buy a Futaba from us, Futaba servo, request longer screws because the ones that come with the kit are way too short. Okay, this is you get different kinds of wheels to use for gearing. I like this one. And I like to use a little larger hole for my ball nuts. Use the second one from the end. In your kit, you'll get one of these, which is what you're going to be using for the servo. It's about 1 inch long. So normally this setup, as you'll see in the next video, these need to be tuned a little bit. For now, just get them in there. And the way you do tune them, you have to have the transmitter going, so you have some power and sets the servos at neutral. Okay, we're going to attach a moisture box. This is where our receivers are going to go. And we need to do a little bit of work for the wires on this portion of the box. We need to clear a tunnel here with a Dremel. Basically what I've done is I've cleared a slot all the way through here, about 1/8 of an inch deep. This is where the wires need to go when you mount the receiver. And one other thing we need to do is put another hole on this. And as best as I can describe it, this hole here we already have. We need a clearance for this hole here. This is about 3/8 in the same alignment. So I've had a little practice so I know where it is. Okay, you're going to put a screw on the hole we just created. And then we'll just put a temporary screw here on this hole to hold it steady. This is how it's going to be assembled. And then we need to drill a hole for the bracket, antenna bracket. It's going to go right behind the box. Put a hole underneath there. That goes to the box. Some smaller holes for the screws to hold it. And you get a couple screws to use for that. Be careful not to go all the way through with these second holes to the moisture box. You just want to go through this gray rib. And that's pretty much it. Here's the cap for it when all the electronics are in. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to take your receiver, feed the antenna through the hole on the inside to the outside. All radios should have an antenna for you to mount to. And you're good. Hi, this is Piero from ArtAttack Snowmobile. What we're going to be doing today is continuing on a pre-assembled kit. We're going to assemble an electric version of it. And just a few things to talk about. What we're using here is a 23 kV motor. And the speed control is going to be 120 amp with a fan in it. I've also assembled a 2-fan heatsink to this motor. If you're going to use a direct drive setup with your sled, you need to have this. If you're using a transmission, it's not necessary. So we'll start working on this. One thing I do want to show you, because of some changes that I've made, I've pre-tested the assembly of the motor to this timing belt and found that I needed more clearance to be able to tighten the motor. So what I've done is, after I assembled it, I marked the areas where I need to extend it for the screws to go further out, and I've done that already. So now we're going to start assembling this motor. Okay, what I normally do is assemble it on direct drive kit, which comes with a 10 or 12 tooth pulley. So I assembled it already in that manner. As you can see, the connections are set to the back of this. So the way to do this is to engage the belt. By the way, whenever you have pulleys connecting to rods, you want to use blue Loctite on all those particular areas. So after I get it lined up, I pull on the motor a little bit, put some tension on it, and then I finish tightening up these screws. There you go. I don't like the way this is right now. It's a little bit too loose, so I'm going to try tightening this up a little bit more. And I do so by just pulling on the motor a little bit more. There you go. Okay, the next thing we're going to put on is the speed controls. One trick I've learned that if you're going to use either glue or two-way tape on any plastic, what you want to do is clean that plastic with alcohol. Because some reason whenever there's a molding process going, when these get done, it leaves a residue there. So I cleaned those areas up. Now I'm going to two-way tape these guys, so I'm going to do the same thing here. This is the on and off switch, which is going to get two-way tape. I do the same thing here. Okay. Now this is pretty good two-way tape. It's the red kind. I'm sure you're all aware of it. Okay. Now this speed controller is not square, so I need room here to mount the switch. So I want to push as far that way as I can. These are the motor cables, and you want them in the back. These are the battery cables, and you want them this way. We mount this all the way against this bracket. And it's about maybe an eighth of an inch off that front edge. these particular speed controllers have an on and off, so I like to have the on forward looking toward me, and that goes right there. Now these excess wires here, we're gonna tie wrap them when we're complete. Okay, so you can plug the motor in to the speed control. I'm going to follow the sequence from left to right. Most of the time I have to reverse these two. The yellow is usually in the middle, which is fine. And we'll talk about that when we time it. Okay, so that's it. I've already put on a servo, and basically, as everyone knows, the servo always goes to channel 1. That's the steering servo. For the electric version, we only need the one. Gas, you need 2. And the speed control is going to be on channel 2. And the last thing to plug in is our heatsink fans, and those will be on the very top. Now there's a variety of radios that I've used. Today we're using a FSG2 by FlySky. I've used a ton of them, they work great. Only thing I don't like about this particular one, it's got batteries in it. I like the rechargeable kind. Okay. The batteries we like to use today, and of course tomorrow might change. These are 50Cs. This particular one is a 5200 LiPo. Most of the time we use the 5000s. But just for assembly purposes it'll work. Now what I like to do is I don't like to take the seat apart when it comes to recharging these. I like to recharge right from the sled. So what I do is before I put my Velcro in to hold it, I kind of practice where these components go. Okay, so now I can reach my balancer and I can reach my my terminals for the charger on this side. So basically what I want is this right here in the center. And then again, turn the transmitter on first. And you'll hear a little noise telling you that it's ready to go. Okay, so this should be ready to go. Okay, all the wires seem to be working properly. It's going in the right direction. Now, if this track was going backwards, we would have to switch these two outside wires, and it would go correctly. This is pretty much set to go. So we're going to shut this off and finish this sled. One of the things you're going to want to do is set up these skis correctly to the servos, and in order to do that we need to turn this on. Let's see. Okay, so now the servo is in a neutral position. So I'll get my skis nice and straight. And then attach the servo reel. Check the reverse a little bit on this. We're going to clean up all these wires. What we're trying to do is keep any of these wires from hitting your steering arms. So I usually wrap them around the hood posts. Make sure that everything is cleared. And there you go. And there you go. This is a complete kit. No battery in here, of course. But it was bound correctly. It's got some nice deeper lug that you can buy from our website. And have fun.